Singularity by William Sleator. 5. How do you know it's the right key? The girl demanded. She wasn't flushed anymore. She was distinctly pale. I noticed it in the little room before. It has a tag that says house on it, see? So I thought it was another house key. Then I found this one. He took it out of his pocket that says play on it. It fit the playhouse lock, but it didn't open the door, and I just realized maybe you need both keys, play and house, to get it open. Come on, let's go take a look. Barry has always been adventurous. He loves taking risks. That's one of the scary things about him. He can get out of control. Now? I said, right now? You want to go there? Shouldn't we wait? What for? He tossed the keys in his palm and pushed himself away from the sink. Ain't it kind of late? The girl said. I mean, too dark to see much and all? I've got a flashlight in my pack. It's upstairs. You know what time it is? The girl asked me while Barry was out of the room. I put down the fork I had been playing with and got out my calendar, which has a clock mode, and got out my calculator, which has a clock mode. 9:15, I said. You always so nervous and fidgety? She asked me. I'm not nervous, I said, putting the calculator away and crumpling up my napkin in my lap. I wished I could make her like me better, but I couldn't think of anything to say. It was a relief when Barry returned with the red plastic flashlight. Fred got up to follow us as we headed for the door. Barry stopped. Maybe Fred better stay, he said. Why? I said. I always felt more secure when Fred was around. You want him to come along, Harry? Barry said, giving me a funny look. Okay, sure, let him come. It was dark outside the back door, and the night was full of the sounds of trees and water. There were only a few isolated fireflies now, and the other insects sang a subdued, scratchy song that came in waves from the deeper blackness under the trees. The girl held the flashlight on the door, and I held Fred while Barry inserted the two keys, one after the other, moving the lock each time. He tried the door. It moved. But why does it need two keys? I said. To make it harder to get in. Here, give me that. Barry took the flashlight, pushed open the door, and directed the light inside. Something that looked like a textured gray wall filled the doorway opening. The beam of light penetrated the stuff unevenly, making a blotchy oval patch. Tentatively, Barry touched it. He pulled back his hand so quickly that I made a gasping noise. Thin strands clung to his fingers. Ugh, spider webs, the girl said. They were so thick they did make a kind of wall. Never seen anything like this, Barry breathed. Not in any basement or attic. Must mean no one's been inside for years and years. More like 3 weeks, the girl said. The old man used to go in and out of here all the time, right up until he died. Used to see him myself. Barry shook his head and ran the flashlight over the grass. In a moment, he found a long stick. He stuck it inside and swung it back and forth until he made a large opening in the cobwebs. Then, holding the stick and flashlight in front of him, he stepped inside. The girl looked at me, then set her lips and followed him. I knew I had to go in, too. There was no possible excuse. But just as I stepped over the threshold, I heard a noise and turned around. A small rabbit had stopped under the sundial. Fred barked and moved toward the rabbit. Well, I never, the girl said, her voice muffled. I turned back inside. My feet crunched down on some material that was brittle on the surface, sticky underneath. Then Barry found the light, a single bulb with a pull chain in the center of the ceiling. In the breeze from the door, the cobwebs wafted against us like layers of gauze curtains. The floor was hidden by a solid layer of dead insects. Yuck, the girl said, looking down at the floor, her arms wrapped around her. She pushed some of the insect bodies aside with the toe of her sneaker. Glad I'm not barefoot, that's all I can say. Barry was slashing at the cobwebs like a jungle explorer with a machete. This always happen around here when you leave a place locked up for 3 weeks, he asked her. Nope. It didn't happen inside the house, and that was empty just as long, I said. And this place is a lot tighter than that house, Barry said. Why'd they fill this place up so fast? Smells like about 10 storm cellars all rolled into one, the girl said, wrinkling her nose. It was true. The place had a moldy, ancient basement smell. Except it's so much newer than the house, Barry said. Look. There was a narrow metal cot and a chest of drawers along one of the long walls, and a table and a chair and kitchen-type cabinet along the other. Against the back wall was a large sink, and in the corner to the right of it, a toilet right out in the open. The furniture was all made out of metal, simple and functional, and more modern than the things in the house. Barry took a couple of steps toward the end of the room, his feet crackling on the little corpses, and tapped the wall above the sink. Metal, he said. The whole place is made out of metal. Looks like he fixed it up so he could come and live out here, but why all the metal? Makes me think of a bomb shelter, I said. Except it's above ground, Barry pointed out. And who would think of a bomb shelter way back then? I don't know, I shrugged. Why would he want to come out here and stay? I don't know, Barry said and sighed. But I swear I'll figure out what this place was for. Well, good luck to you, the girl said with a short laugh. I told you what I know about it. Not that any of this stuff explains what happened to them animals. She looked around the room again and lifted her hands. Well, I better be... Hey, look at this. Barry pointed up to the ceiling with his stick. A square with hinges on one side was cut into the metal. He pulled the chair over, climbed up, and lifted his hands. Careful, I couldn't keep from saying. The ceiling was so low that Barry had to bend over to stand on the chair. The trapdoor opened easily and fell back on the other side with a clang. Hand me the flashlight, he said. Then he stood up and stuck his arms and head through. From underneath, we could see nothing up there but more cobwebs. A moment later, Barry ducked down again and jumped from the chair, holding something. Look at this, he said. It was a green metal box about the size of a package of tea bags, with black letters stenciled on it. U.S. Army Survival Biscuits, it said. Piles and piles of these up there under the rafters, Barry said. And books, and more of those big batteries. One of them hooked up to the light. He really wanted to make sure he could hold up in here. But that still don't tell me what happened to the animals, the girl said, and now I really gotta... There was a dull thud, and we all spun around. The door had slammed shut, perhaps in a gust of wind. I ran to push it open, but it wouldn't move. We were locked in. At least I wasn't the only one who panicked. The girl and I were both beating on the door until Barry pushed us away, holding up the keys. We have to be careful, he said, as he turned them in the lock and then opened the door. It locks automatically, and you need the keys to get out and get in. I was the first one out. The rabbit was hopping away from the sundial. Fred took off after it. Huh? I said. Now what's the matter, said Barry. The rabbit. It just ran away now. Fred just ran after it. So, dogs chase rabbits all the time. But they were in the same place when we went inside the playhouse. There's hundreds of rabbits around here, the girl said. He chased one before, and then another one came along and he chased it too. But what else could have happened, Harry? Barry said. Well, I really got to get going, the girl said. She backed away, lifting her hand to wave at Barry. Bye now. You never told me your name. Barry said. Lucy, she said. Lucy Coolidge. And you're Barry and Harry. Barry Krasner. Nice to meet you. Bye. See you later. She hurried off toward the river. Barry was fresh and rested the next morning. He whistled as he showered and very carefully shaved. After breakfast, he announced that we would clean the bugs and spider webs out of the playhouse. I would have been happy if we never set foot in that place again, but as usual, I went along with what he wanted to do. We brought 2 brooms and a dustpan and some garbage bags out to the playhouse. Barry began on the cobwebs, and I started sweeping up the bugs. There was a lot of silvery dust on the floor as well as dead insects. After about 10 minutes, I had a substantial pile. Where's the bags? I asked Barry. Huh? Barry looked around. Oh, I guess I put them down when I unlocked the door. They must still be outside. He was standing on the metal chair, brushing cobwebs out of the back corner of the ceiling. The walls were still thickly draped with them. I had cleared about 1 square yard of floor. The rest was black with insect bodies. Where's the keys? I said. Right there on the table. I took the keys and let myself out, shading my eyes. I looked around for Fred, then I bent over to get the bags. The door slammed shut behind me. Darn thing, I said and unlocked it again. I stepped back inside. We've got to do something about this door. It's a real... My voice died. Barry wasn't standing on the chair. He lay on the cot in his underwear, asleep, his mouth half open, his eyes closed. His clothes were piled on the floor beside the dresser. There were no cobwebs anywhere, and the stone floor was clear of bugs, except for a mountain of them, near where I stood at the door. Barry had heard me start my sentence. His eyes fluttered open and came to rest on me. There was pale stubble on the lower half of his face. And that is the end of Chapter 5.